Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Crypto Lifer, where crypto is life. I like the mic up. Let's get into the news and let's get into the day. It's Tuesday, December 11th, 2 days before Friday the 13th. We have a big day coming up. I'll talk about my daily positions, what I did, what I didn't do, what's going on, and how I take action in the market of cryptocurrency. First thing I want to do is discuss why I got into cryptocurrency. And if you didn't watch my videos, I'm going to start almost every video with this. I want you guys to understand what happens to your money when you're not watching it, meaning when you bring it to the bank. When the Federal Reserve is making all these crazy IOU checks they're writing for the bonds. Remember, bonds. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you this video by Mike Maloney. He wants me to send it out to as many people as possible. That's why I'm not monetizing a lot of these videos. I'm really just doing it for pure joy, energy, passion. I'm getting it out there because, hey, I could pass away tomorrow, right? And if I don't do what I love right now at this very moment, then what is a life worth living, okay?
Don't be alarmed if you don't quite comprehend the deception of this system at first glance. Very few people do. It is purposely complex. The economist John Maynard Keynes once wrote, "By this means, government may secretly and unobserved confiscate the wealth of the people, and not one man in a million will detect the theft." I believe that presented correctly, anyone can understand this system, regardless of how complex it is. So let's do a recap and break it down even more. The way the system works is that, step one, the government creates glorified IOUs. These bonds increase our national debt and put the public on the hook to pay it back.
Pay attention.
Step two, IOUs are swapped to create currency.
Those are bonds.
The Treasury sells the bonds to the banks. The banks then turn around and sell our national debt at a profit to the Federal Reserve, which they probably own.
This is real, guys.
The Federal Reserve then opens its checkbook that doesn't have a penny in it and buys those IOUs with IOUs that it writes.
That's
checks,
fraud. That's
on
fraud.
A checking account that has a zero balance.
No money in it.
Then they give those checks to the banks and currency just springs into existence. And then the whole process repeats.
But me and you have to work for it.
This results in a buildup of bonds at the Federal Reserve and currency at the Treasury, which is really just a supply of numbers. The Treasury then deposits the numbers in the various branches of the government, and we get to step three. The government spends the numbers on promises, public works, social programs, and war. Then the government employees, contractors, and soldiers deposit their pay into the banks, and we get to step four, where the banks multiply the numbers by magically inventing more IOUs through fractional reserve lending, where they steal a portion of everyone's deposit and lend it out. That currency gets redeposited and then a portion is stolen again. And the process repeats over and over, magnifying the currency supply exponentially. Then we work for some of those numbers, which brings us to step five, where our numbers are taxed. We pay tax to the IRS, who then turns our numbers over to the Treasury, so the Treasury can pay the principal plus the interest on bonds that were purchased by the Federal Reserve with a check from nothing. Then we get to step six, the debt ceiling delusion. The system is designed to require ever-increasing levels of debt and will eventually collapse under its own weight because politicians always kick the can down the road. They don't want it to collapse on their watch. And finally, step seven, the secret owners take their cut. The world's largest banks own the Federal Reserve. Those banks make a profit selling our national debt to the Fed. They make a profit when the Fed pays them interest on the reserves held at the Fed, and the Fed pays them a 6% dividend on their ownership of the Fed. This system is fundamentally evil. It funnels wealth from the working population to the government and the banking sector. It is the cause of the artificial booms and busts of modern economies, and it causes great disparity of wealth between the rich and the working class. And it is only possible because we no longer use real money, we use currency. But worst of all, it is a form of enslavement.
I'm live right now.
Bond is the root word of bondage. Whenever a government issues a bond, it is a promise to make us pay tax in the future. Nobody asked you if you wanted to pay tax today for the prosperity we all enjoyed in the last century. Nobody is asking our children if they want to work hard in the future to pay for the prosperity we're enjoying now. We'll eventually collapse.
All right, guys, I'm back. I play this at the beginning of every single live stream lately because it's the reason why I buy Bitcoin, okay? So if I'm the crypto lifer and I'm explaining to you guys what my life's about, then there's a reason why I want to explain to you guys what I'm doing. Just fixing my form there. Yeah, but so I figured this system out. I first learned this and didn't understand it. 3 years went by of me watching this video over and over and over again. It took me like 4 to 5 years to fully understand that I lived in a Ponzi scheme. The debt ceiling is something that's worth talking about as well. It's like you can't get $1 to pay unless you borrow $1. And if you keep borrowing money, this is a perfect example here. Watch this.
On every dollar in existence. Let me ask you something. If you borrow the very first dollar into existence, and that's the only dollar that exists on the planet, but you promise to pay it back plus another dollar's worth of interest, where do you get the second dollar to pay the interest? The answer is that you have to borrow that one into existence and promise to pay it back with interest as well. So now there are $2 in existence, but you owe 4, and so on and so on. The result is there's never enough currency to pay the debt. There is always more debt in the system than there is currency in existence to pay the debt.
You see that? Every time they issue more money into the system, we have to pay the Federal Reserve an interest on the money that gets brought back into the system. So if the first dollar ever was borrowed, which it was because they created it and we had to pay them debt on it, then we have to borrow another dollar to pay that debt off, but that dollar then comes out, which creates debt. So on and so forth, okay?
Therefore, the whole system is impossible. It is finite. It will come to an end one day.
So this is why you need to invest in gold and Bitcoin. I'm not selling these things. People think, oh, you have to be selling something. No. But with that, I just want to educate you guys. This is why I'm buying Bitcoin. This is why I have this channel. This is why I am the crypto lifer. This video right here was the reason why I changed as a person and became different. So remember that. It's super, super important. Okay, now getting into what I bought last night and during the day. I'm going to start being a little more transparent as I can. First thing I want to show you is my buy here. At 9:58 this morning, I put $2,500 into XTZ, which is Tezos, a staking, amazing coin. It's got a lot of energy behind it, a lot of people behind it. I am currently up 3%, which is $75. I'm going for a 10% gain of $250 on this one today. Now, why would I buy Tezos? What was going on? Well, I was already in it, and I already made a nice 10% off it on a smaller portfolio. And it's because I like playing these falling wedges, and I do talk about it, especially if I see a falling wedge with strong support. Here we bounced off support, so I put my white line. We bounced off it again. Once I saw that confirmation, I decided, you know what, it's probably going to make a surge. This is a V-shaped recovery as well, as you can see that. That came from that Bitcoin dump and pump kind of thing that happened there. So, and then we clammed up. We broke through support here, bounced up, and I decided, you know what, 149.99, that will be new support. Here we had resistance here. And again, I take you guys through how I make every trade. The first thing I do is I look at the chart and I find my support and resistance. I just put white lines. It's really simple. I put white lines wherever I see dips and spikes. Dips and spikes. Like, so there'd be a white line. Here's a white line. For instance, there we could see strong. And also, this is a double top that broke up to the outside. I never see that. Interesting. We're bouncing off the 50 EMA. This could go parabolic, guys. This is something that we're really trying to, you know, I don't know. We could see huge moves. So let's look in the past. So we have no resistance here. This is all-time highs, right? This has never been this high. Let me see. I thought I would have sworn this was at $4 at one point. But maybe not on this exchange, not on Binance since it got added. So honestly, since it's been on Binance, it's never been here. So once we break this line of resistance, like there's no telling how high we could go. Yeah. I'm looking for over 25% gains on this or more. So I'm trying to get $1,000 out of this trade. This is going to be the one, in my opinion, but you never know. I'm also in Atom. I got into Atom at 3.4 in down in here yesterday when it bounced off this line at 352. I wrote it up and I sold it here. Luckily, it came back down. I was watching these levels of support. It seems like we bounced off this level, broke up here, and I felt really comfortable with this buy here at 360. I felt like that was the moment when we didn't break through. We just wicked up, and when I saw the buying pressure, remember, a wick is buying pressure. It means the price came down, and then people bought, and that left the wick in its trail. So with that, again, we could bounce off this 50 EMA as well. I'm just looking at these things. It's very interesting. So I'm in Atom, I'm in Link, and I'm in XTZ. Link's breaking down a little bit, but it's not bad. If we look at my channel that I drew recently, maybe I have to bring it to the 4 hour to get a good look at it. Yeah. So I said this is the aggressive buy right here in this area, or even on this line. See, anywhere in this purple line is the aggressive buy. Once you buy here, you put your stop loss here below the trend line. You could even use this white line here, and then you get double walls. You're looking for as many resistance lines as you can for the price not to break through. It is support. I'm calling it resistance, but resistance when it's breaking up, support when it's trying to break through. You could also wait for the breakout, and that's the safer trade here, but you miss out on a lot of these gains right here. And what we're trying to do is ride this up to the top of the trend line at 26%. So we're going for that. At 21 would be 10%. We double that. So 21, 42 to 46. We're at 58. We're looking at basically, 260, 270 range. And then we want to get to this 298, 295. So we got to break through this 259, 260 range right here, this white line, which was a little bit of resistance. It also held support here. Boom, boom, boom. But we broke through. Like to see us break right through again and hold it as support like we did here. Yeah. So that's what's going on with this trade. That's what I'm looking at. We could also look if we see any divergences. That's when you see an oscillator moving opposite to price, and that could actually tell you if something's going to happen. Here, we're both locked in. Looks like we just have basically normal RSI movement. It's in a healthy place right here at 50 where it's time to move. See it moving up here. Came back down. Time to buy was right there. Nice little low point. When it even wasn't the lowest. Interesting, we had a lower price action with the higher RSI. That also could lead, I believe that's an indication that we should go a little higher with the RSI, and we hit off the trend line. So that kind of was your time right there to buy. You can see it here at even at $2. You'd be up almost almost 10% right now at 216. So we had a little spike up. We're fighting through this line here. What's going to happen? I don't want to see us break. If we break the trend line, you get your stop loss here and you get stopped out, and that is what it is. But yeah, this is very interesting. We're looking at Link, Atom, and XTZ. These are the only plays. I got into Engine Coin. Somehow I got stopped out. I took a call. There's a V-shaped recovery right there, though, which is very, very interesting. Bouncing off this 80 MA right here. We do have a cross of the 21 of the 50. We'd like to see this turn back around and get back above it. We see a bullish cross here on the MACD, which is good, and we see the RSI in a great place. Engine Coin definitely is something we're looking at. I could see it getting huge. Look, it has a nice rounded bottom. These tend to play out, so we could say there was the bottom. Ever since then, it's had higher lows. It could look far more rigid if you break it out, and you can see where it's going. We have Fun Coin. I was definitely in a Fun Coin at 36. Now it's up 4. A nice 10% gain on Fun Coin. And I'm in Fun right now at 57. It's kind of breaking in and out. Like to look this on the 30. Gives me a little more of like what's happening. Other people say don't use the 30. I like the 30. I think the 30 gives me some insight of projection into the 4 hour. We're holding this line of support here at 554. I really hope that holds. Very important that it does. We do have a cross here. We crossed the 21, crossed the 50 and the 80. Like to see this bounce up and cross these two, reset all these EMAs in consecutive line, meaning we have the 21, the 50, the 80, the 100, and the 200 on in a perfect line. We're kind of low on the RSI, a little oversold, so I think we could actually make a bump off here. We have a double bottom on the RSI, meaning we should move up. That's interesting to see. This could be forming somewhat of a double bottom here, bottom, kind of a crooked double bottom, but you know what? It's doing what it's doing. So yeah, that's why I'm in Harmony. So you can see these are what I'm in. I'm watching. I'm out of Fun though. I sold my Fun position. I didn't stay in it. It is kind of flagging right now. It's doing a little bit of a something. It's worth checking out. definitely worth checking out, worth looking at. Bitcoin just really wants to hold this line that I drew here, this line at 7195. It's trying to break it. We had the dip down below to 7121, and honestly, that should have cascaded us all the way down, even to 6900, 6800. But one thing I want to talk about, there's a lot of awesome news. I see it just pouring in into here, down here. A lot of good news coming out. Definitely want to talk about it. So, but those are the coins of the day. Atom, Link, XTZ. And again, I've been tweeting here and there. I try to follow up some of the positions with some tweets. You can see where I'm at, what I'm doing. Really want to hold this 368. It's looking strong, starting to build up. Again, we have a lot of resistance and support lines that are tending to hold. Where we're going with Atom, as you can see, we have the potential for a 51% gain here. So definitely something worth looking at, worth staying in the game, checking it out. And if you want to play it safe, there's smaller, this is 20%, 22%. So here, I call this the aggressive buy. We're bouncing off the trend line. We've already had 1, 2, 3, coming touches. Now we have 3 touches on the top. The fourth one should break the top. I usually do see that happen. Nothing is guaranteed in crypto, nothing guaranteed in life. But you know what? You set a trade, you plan it out, and you see where it goes. So with that being said, we see what's going on with our positions. So yeah, currently down 2% in one. I got in at 5572 and it's at 572 and it's at 557 right now. Yeah. XTZ now lost a little bit of movement, now only up 1.8. We lost 1.2% in the last 2 minutes. Atom holding as well. But yeah, and Link sitting at 216, so it's struggling a little bit, but I believe it'll come up. And vet may be time to get into vet too, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't have a large position in vet. My largest positions are XTZ, Atom, and Link, and and we're going to go from there. And one. I think anything over $1,500 is pretty large. I mean, for me. For you, you might laugh at it, but is what it is. I'm the crypto lifer. I'm telling you about my life. It may not be your life. So, but let's get into the news, guys. We went into the coins. Mysterious Bitcoin fund completes $75 million donation to preserve privacy. The unknown fund claims to have now donated a total of $75 million to groups and companies working on privacy-preserving technology. The anonymous promoted Bitcoin fund was first detailed in mid-November. The origins of the funds are largely unknown, and of course, the beneficiaries of the donations are also kept quiet. The secrecy has understandably created skepticism among observers. Unknown Fund says all Bitcoin donations are now completed. The decentralized hacktivist group Anonymous first detailed the Unknown Fund on November 13th via press release. It claimed that the $75 million in Bitcoin would go towards groups or companies working on privacy-enhancing technologies. Other than Anonymous's involvement in the motive and the value of the fund, there is little known about the origins of the Unknown Fund. The release only calls them ordinary, anonymous people from different countries that met on 4chan. Thanks to the understandably shadowy nature of just about every aspect of the mysterious Bitcoin fund, some observers have questioned its authenticity. So this unknown fund that pledged $75 million to Bitcoin privacy project has turned out to be a hoax. Has anyone applied and heard back from them? However, since mid-November, the unknown fund's Twitter account has started posting press releases from various privacy-friendly projects. It makes no comment as to whether the groups receiving the publicity are beneficiaries of the unknown fund. However, they are all related to causes outlined in the original press release. All projects are funded Unknown Fund. So you can go to Twitter, Unknown Fund. I'm going to follow them up. Pretty cool. Press release from Cloud Consortium team, new authentication protocol, which has data quantum resistant supremacy based on post-blockchain technology. Yeah, governments just want to take our money from us. As I showed you here, the Ponzi scheme that we live in has to keep running, and for it to keep running, they need to keep dipping in our pockets, and if they're not dipping in our pockets, they're going to have an issue. So once we all have our own privacy, the people who, and we think we live in a fair society, like the government is controlling. The government is a group of people that are greedier than us. You have to remember that, and they're running things the way they want them to run. We need things to run trustless and beautifully. We can't have a corrupt group of people at the top that want to hold us back. One video I want to actually bring up right now, which actually can bend your mind, is this. This is insane, but this is true. And this is kind of how crypto has everything to do with everything. It combines so many things. Crypto is freedom. Crypto is technology. It's also sci-fi. It's how we're moving forward. So with me, you know, back engineered alien technology, crypto, they all kind of go hand in hand.
Where there are a lot of very powerful stakeholders. And so from a rational point of view, you'd say, well, these technologies would get us off of oil, gas.
So right now we do have 0 Point Energy. It was created by Nikola Tesla. If you don't know that, look him up. He was lighting light bulbs through the ground wirelessly. There's also potential of us being able to see forward and back in time through Project Looking Glass. If your mind's not there yet, it's okay. Slowly it will. You will become more conscious and understand these concepts as time goes on. More people around you will too, and it'll make it easier for you. You won't feel as strange in getting into this stuff. What we're saying is, we all know, if we know it exists, why can't we use it? And this is the explanation.
Nuclear power, no more Fukushimas.
Like, we don't need this stuff.
But from the point of view of people who are looking at the national security equation from a macroeconomic stability point of view, this is their worst nightmare. 99.9% of the people on planet Earth would benefit from this. There is a very, it's not the 1%, it's the 0.0000001% who would not benefit from this because they are the ones sitting atop the petrodollar system, the macroeconomic order, and particularly the fact that it is run, and everything we're using is run on a metered linear energy source, even solar and wind. If you begin to talk about the phenomena of new energy, free energy, anti-gravity, UFOs, you're stepping into an area that is the most sensitive, compartmented intelligence in the history of the United States. First, I want to give you sort of the big picture. And the big picture is that we haven't needed fossil fuels since about 100 years ago.
Can you believe that?
This building was built in 1913. Certainly by then, Tesla, Faraday, Maxwell, particularly the Maxwell-Quaternion equations that were chopped off and
Google
changed, as you may well know, some of you who are engineers, has resulted in us having an energy sector that requires us to burn something or heat something up to create steam to get us electricity or to run our cars.
I wasn't supposed to be here.
All right, we'll take that ad off. Oh, let me see. Watch. If you put the Brave browser on, it'll delete this ad, and I just keep watching. See, no ads at all. So that's another reason you should use Brave. See, I put the shield up. That ad's gone now. I don't have to watch any ads on YouTube if I keep the Brave shield up. That's why you got to do Brave Shield. Okay. So we got into crypto news, but I'm also telling you that we have free energy. We had it 100 years ago, and they're not letting us use it, okay? They're not letting us use it. Super important, guys. Yes, we do. We will be vigilant in our curbing of government's powers. We have been lax for too long. While our attention was elsewhere, our government ceased to be our servant and became our master. It's time to take back the reins. Yes, we do. I actually called John McAfee yesterday, and he answered the phone. I have his phone number on Signal here in my phone. And you can believe me if you want, you believe me if you don't, but I heard his voice. I actually phoned him, and we spoke on the phone. I'm going to interview him on my channel soon, and just hearing his voice was insane. I wonder if the call actually is still there in my phone because, yeah. Here's me even saying, thank you, John, for answering. Thank you for answering. Where is it here? But yeah, I spoke to John McAfee yesterday on the phone. It's pretty cool. It actually blew my mind. Like I couldn't believe it. Yeah. But yeah, I want to interview him here on the channel. We're gonna go over a lot of different things. Free energy. We're gonna cover a lot of amazing topics. I think me and him are gonna have a lot of fun. I think me and John together is something that a lot of people would like to see. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to work till it happens, but we're in talks, and hopefully it'll go on. But yeah, I'm going to make this channel amazing, guys. Okay. All right. So we have the Unknown Fund, which is very interesting. There's a new game that will make you a Bitcoin collector. It's called the Bitcoin Collector. And little idea of the game. It's pretty interesting and funny. I watched like a portion of the game. Very, very... Heard it's very hard. Kind of like Mario, though. And you collect Bitcoins. Oof. So you got to kill the bears. Isn't that funny? You have to kill the bears. I like that. The Bitcoin bears. That's great. That is great. Yes. The repo market's liquidity crisis has been a decade in the making. It sounds crazy. Even National Public Radio is talking about repo rates. In normal terms, not even Wall Street thinks too much about the arcana short-term money markets. But over the past weeks, the Federal Reserve has had to work unusually hard to rein in a key policy rate after overnight repo lending dried up. Suddenly, everyone is asking the same question. What does it mean? Participants point the finger at two structural changes that have drained too much cash from the system and made the repo market more prone to seizing up. Crisis-era monetary policies and financial regulations designed to curb risk-taking. So basically, the banks state they have the cash, but they're not allowed to use it. Very, very strange. Those liquidity constraints came into full view over the past few days when the corporate tax payments, big treasury auctions, and maneuvers by financial firms to manage their capital requirements prior to quarter-end drained cash available for repo transactions. The overnight lending rate quickly shot up to 10%, and the Fed temporarily lost control over its benchmark rate. I mean, this was in September, but I just want to say this is something that was coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. Bitcoin mining is now even more controlled by China. According to a recent report by digital asset manager CoinShares, China is now responsible for 66% of Bitcoin's total hash rate, which represents a 6% increase from July. Notably, China is currently producing the highest share of coins since CoinShares started monitoring and hash rate in 2017. In early November, Bitcoin mining was removed from the list of industries that China wants to eliminate. The move essentially confirmed the country's plan to capitalize on the mushrooming growth of its mining business. It is beneficial to the Chinese mining industry. If you are the first to increase your proportion of the hash rate and you can do that before your competitors, that's really good, said Kristen Bendelson, the head of research at CoinShares. So taming the behemoth. The fact that China's authoritarian regime has so much control over Bitcoin remains one of its main concerns within the crypto industry. Despite President Xi Jinping's recent embracement of blockchain, Bitcoin remains banned in the communist state. I'm so confused though. They mine more of it, but it's banned. That said, some other countries are vying to chip away at China's share in the Bitcoin mining market. Russia Internet Ombudsman Dmitry Marchinovev is building a gargantuan mining firm that plans to steal China's mining crown. Billionaire Peter Thiel came up with a similar plan by investing a cool $500 million in a Texas-based mining company. Hopefully, U.S. actually will become the biggest miner. Hopefully, they have like a 10 hectare something crazy, and they're going to do it in the biggest state, Texas, where everything is big, right? They're going to go big. Bitcoin registers all-time highs on P2P exchanges as countries face economic woes. Due to the rampant inflation in the country, Bitcoin transaction in Ghanaian Cedi have skyrocketed on peer-to-peer markets. Weekly trading volumes on local Bitcoins and Paxful hit 350K Bitcoin this week. Just 2 weeks ago, sub-Saharan Africa surpassed volume highs set during 2017 bubble. Ghanaian volumes on P2P markets have gone parabolic. GAS is also the first currency which is almost completely migrated from local Bitcoins to Paxful, which could suggest the sensitivity of our user base to the stricter KYC AM policy adopted at local Bitcoins recently. According to a tweet by Matt Albarg, a data scientist and research fellow at D-Lab Ventures Capital. I went to D-Lab. GHS volumes on P2P markets have gone parabolic. Trading volumes are almost 3 times higher than those observed in January 2019 and 5 times higher than in January of 2018. We're in for a big scare here, guys. We're going to see a lot of countries collapsing. We're going to have a world economic collapse. People will fly into Bitcoin. You're going to see an uncertainty like you've never seen. Get ready. Buy some gold. Buy some Bitcoin. Have yourself, a plan. Don't just think you're going to be fine like you've been in the past. You're going to have to need a plan. You're going to have to subscribe to channels like The Crypto Lifer and learn what's going on, how to live a different way than you've been taught in school in finance. America's first stablecoin is built on the Binance chain. Africa's first stablecoin is built on Binance chain. Africa's first stablecoin, the African stablecoin ABCD, is backed by Nigeria's national currency, the Naira. Also, the fiat-backed crypto is built on Binance's native blockchain, the Binance chain. The crypto momentum in Africa doesn't seem to die down. Budding startups are leveraging blockchain and decentralized ledger technology to create novel applications that will change the future of finance on the continent. African stablecoin is the brainchild of Ghana-based cross-border money transfer startup BitSika. According to reports, the project was fulfilled in collaboration with Lenovo Capital and was unveiled just last week. It got enrolled in the Binance Labs incubation program earlier this year. BitSika CEO Astu Davo even met Jack Dorsey when the Twitter chief was on his trip to Ghana. Now we know who was the person from Jack's Ghana Bitcoin meetup picture who got circulated a lot, citing his interest to grow Africa's BTC and crypto ecosystem. Huge news. The more people that have stable coins, the more they interact with Bitcoin. It'll be faster. We'll have blockchain. More people can onboard because in one switch, they'll be able to exchange a coin into Bitcoin or whatever else they want, and it will help global adoption. Decentralized Twitter, Jack Dorsey introduces Blue Sky. Jack Dorsey announces Blue Sky initiative to focus on building a decentralized standard for Twitter and other social media. It's almost like he's not cool with the censorship, yet he owns it. It's weird. But sometimes when you're the CEO, you're on a board, man, and you have to listen to other people. As powerful you are as the CEO, you are surrounded by board members. I have a friend who is a CEO, and he tells me all the time what a pain the board is, you know? Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey wants to create an open and decentralized standard for social media that his own platform will follow. To this end, he decided to gather a team of programmers, engineers, and designers to work on a new project called Blue Sky. Twitter is funding a small independent team of up to 5 open source architects, engineers, and designers to develop an open and decentralized standard for social media. The goal is for Twitter to ultimately be a client of this standard. That'd be really cool, man. Have a decentralized social media where we can say what we want with each other and not be censored. You know, a lot of these places like Twitter, YouTube, they grew on us. They grew on us, on the novelty of the community. And now they're blocking us from saying things, deleting our channels, taking away our rights to say stuff. It's just sad, man. It's not fair. It makes me uneasy. And it's also greed. Like you're now selling ads. You're making a lot of money off of something the community helped create. And, you know, you don't get enough as a YouTube creator. You're definitely slashed. It's not worth it sometimes, but it's worth it if you connect and you love what you're doing, you know. What the wild world of digital currency tells us about the future. The post and part of CoinDesk. How does Libra resemble a central bank? What role did the Soviet Union have in the development of credit cards? What did a desire to live forever drive forward the creation of digital currencies? Why did it decide to live forever? These are the questions Finn Brunton is prepared to ask and answer after a decade-long career as a historian of technology and media. I met the New York University professor on his 7th floor office on Green Street, where we discussed his academic interest, the wild and varied culture, history of digital native currencies. In his latest book, Digital Cash, The Unknown History of the Anarchists, Utopians, and Technologists Who Created Cryptocurrency, Brunton yokes together seemingly heterogeneous subcultures and ideas to tell the untold story of cryptocurrency's emergence. This is really cool, man. I'd love to get this book and read about it. And so we got to, what's the name of the book? That's the most important thing here is it's Digital Cash, The Unknown History of Anarchists, Utopians, and Technologists Who Created Cryptocurrency. And his name is Finn Brunton. So we should all get his book. If we imagine a nightmare version of Facebook's Libra where a company has complete oversight over your money, they can start setting up all kinds of sweetheart deals. You start wiping out the ability of the market to function. It seems like people are willing to give up a measure of privacy for the convenience of electronic payments. You know, Chom was conscious of throwing off the balance of power between customers and corporations. If a corporation knows how much you're good for, they can price gouge you beyond the market rate. We're going to start seeing all kinds of manipulation. If we imagine a nightmare version of Facebook's Libra, where a company has complete oversight over your money, they can start setting up all kinds of sweetheart deals. You start wiping out the ability of the market to function. You know, it's not good. We need a private coin. Go Monero. I love Monero, and I think anyone should keep a stash of Monero. Charles Hawkins calls off the Cardano MMA fight. Founder Charles Hawkins has announced the cancellation of the MMA charity fight, featuring himself and YouTuber Chico Crypto. Though both opponents previously agreed to fight, he said he called it off. He said he tried to get his email address. He said, he said in a linked interview, Hoskin and fight organizer James Appleton stated that Chico Crypto had refused to disclose his email address, making a formal arrangements impossible. We're asking for a basic thing, Hodgkinson replied. We're not going to do negotiations over Twitter. We're going to have an NDA over private channels. So apparently Chico Crypto never gave them his email. He could even have made a fake email for the day, like Chico Fighting or whatever he wanted, MMA Gmail, right? I don't know why he didn't do that. What is this deal? I mean, he got up into the mainstream and he got himself talked about, and now he's probably getting way more views. So he did his job, right? That's all he needed to do. Probably he was never going to fight Charles Hawkins in the first place. Maybe he was booked during that time and he was never going to be in Cincinnati. So he just blew them off. This is again about Jack Dorsey talking about that. Rat poison. Millennial investors prefer Bitcoin to Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. Yeah, maybe your company is rat poison, Warren Buffett. I get a little mad when he called Bitcoin rat poison back then. That was a horrible, very uneducated statement for someone that had no idea what he was talking about. Bitcoin has in the past been called a Ponzi scheme, a scam tool for money laundering and criminal activities. It even has been dubbed rat poison by the Oracle of Omaha himself, Warren Buffett. But that rat poison is more sought after investment in millennial investors than Buffett-backed Berkshire Hathaway and many other top stocks. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and thousands more are emerging asset class that, despite now being untested and unproven, are more appealing investment to millennial investors than many of today's top performing stocks. Why Bitcoin and not Netflix, Microsoft, and other traditional assets? Because you know why? Because we don't know what's going to happen with the stock market, and we don't even own those stocks, right? I don't physically own the stock. What if something happens to the market and they just all go down? And what if like the provider goes down and like you can't even log in? What happens then? What happens when you can't even access your account? All I know is, just like my gold, I can hold my Bitcoin in my hand. It's my private keys that I own. You'd have to put a gun to my head and take them, and I'll probably die with them unless I have to, to stay alive for my daughter and wife. But you know what? If there's nothing else, I will die with my Bitcoin in my hand. You will never get it. Never. And I know there's like 60 to 70% of us long-term holders are the same way. We fought way too hard to keep our Bitcoin. We've been challenged every day to sell it. The ups and downs, the pain we have gone through to hold our Bitcoin. We will never, ever get rid of our Bitcoin. Any comments up here? Just checking if we got any comments. Let me go to my live stream. I forgot to play it myself. Sometimes I keep it up. Today I forgot to keep it up. Even Tim Draper, man, he's saying that we were going to see a $250,000 Bitcoin. And I think we're going to see it earlier than he says. He thinks like 225. I'm telling you, man, McAfee is spot on with the 2021. By the end of 2020, we're looking at $1 million Bitcoin. I said it here and I say it again, And to me, it's kind of obvious that it's going to happen. But a lot of people are like, we did have that big move. How are we going to do it? All we have to do is basically 10x from here. That's 70 to get to 100 and then 10x from there. So 2 10x's, and with a horrible global implosion and a lot coming on the line, it may get bounced out to 222. You never know. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But I think there's a high probability that we do see Bitcoin at $1 million by 2021. We have to do is basically 10x from here. That's 70 to get to. Here's my live stream. You can see how far behind we are. I feel like I may have turned off the chat too. There it is. Okay. So if anyone wants to say anything in the chat, let me know. If you want me to go over a coin, we're going to go back into the coins at the end. That's what we do. We start with the coins. We talk about why I'm into Bitcoin. We go over the monetary system. We talk about a little free range thinking. We get into the news. Then we go back to the coins. Bitcoin smoked Amazon and Apple in the last decade. Can it do the same in the 2020s? Just 10 years ago, Bitcoin was entirely irrelevant on a global scale, used by less than a few dozen individuals who were transacting coins worth zilch on the open market in a peer-to-peer fashion. Sure, the idea of decentralized and digital cats was worth something, but there was little to zero adoption months after pseudonymous coder Satoshi Nakamoto published the first iteration of Bitcoin. But times have changed dramatically. What was the digital money used by the fringe? Those that wanted to bypass the pitfalls of traditional payment solutions and bet on the future of the world, is now a mainstream financial technological phenomenon. Bitcoin has found itself frequenting the headlines of mainstream media outlets, becoming part of the world's vernacular and referenced by many a corporation. We're still in the beginning stages, guys. People think it's over. Heard about it too much. I'm telling you right now, if you don't at the end of the stream just go buy yourself $20 worth of Bitcoin, you're just not. Like, something is wrong. Like, they have brainwashed you. They have made you think that an asset like the dollar is safer to be in than an asset with a smaller circulating supply like Bitcoin. Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht predicts Bitcoin will hit 100,000. Ross Ulbricht, founder of the infamous now defunct dark web marketplace Silk Road, published an analysis and prediction from Bitcoin's price. Ulbricht, who's serving a double life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for his role in operating Silk Road, published a series of Medium posts on December 10th outlining Bitcoin's price movement. They take a few days to get to me and a few days to get back and put up online, so everything you see is at least a week out of date. This is fine though, because we'll only be looking at large movements in the market on the scale of months, years, and even decades. Ulbricht even goes on to apply Elliott wave theory to the Bitcoin price chart. walking readers through each step of his analysis. Ultimately, he concludes that Bitcoin's next significant rally will take it to the price of 100,000. And he's not the only one, and a lot of people say that. Even Tim Draper has asked for his release. He didn't kill anybody, but there's people who did way worse who are serving way less. Connecting smart contracts to the real world, we continue to see a stark contrast between Bitcoin and other leading cryptos, those that are bound to thrive, and hundreds of other digital assets that are or will become zombie coins with virtual zero adoption in the real world. This is especially true from non-native tokens that reside on the digital ledger platforms like Ethereum, EOS, and NEO. But it's not true for all of them. Some projects do have real-world fundamental value. This is due to specific applications that can make them useful in the long term. Like BAT is running right now on my channel. Look, I can click this down and get paid in more BAT. Every time I click my shield down, I get more BAT. Send me my BAT. Send me my BAT. I have a BAT link in the description below. If you don't know what BAT is, it's basic attention token. They have the Brave browser. I only search on the Brave browser. It's 3 or 4 times faster than Google Chrome, and it blocks every single ad if I put up my shield, and I don't have to deal with it. Now, Zero Hedge is talking about gold today. They're talking about the repo markets. Powell notes 3.7 wage gain for non-supervisory workers. Powell does not note the 20% healthcare cost gains. Yeah, so we may have gained in somewhat of our money, but then we have to pay more. Hours-long Taliban assault on Baghdad repelled by U.S. strikes days after peace talks resume. Powell, low productivity likely holding back wage gains. 3 men arrested in Niger for alleged $722 million crypto Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Enough with the Ponzi schemes, man. Someone's always trying to take advantage. With Bridgewater's flagship funding trailing peers, Dalio shifts focus to mentoring Sean Diddy Combs. I wish I could get mentored by Ray Dalio. Pretty interesting. But yes, the wealthy are hoarding physical gold. The wealthy are hoarding physical gold, guys. In a note published over the weekend, Goldman Sachs recommended diversifying long-term bond holdings with gold, citing fear-driven demand for the yellow metal. Hedge funds and other hedged large speculators boosted their bullish bets on gold by 8.9% through the week, ended December 3rd, according to the government data released Friday. That represents the biggest gain since the end of September. Goldman notice cited political uncertainty and recession fears as the catalyst for the move towards gold. It also mentioned worries about a wealth tax, increasing interest in modern monetary theory, essentially money printing, and the current loose central bank monetary policy. Data buried in the note also revealed that owning physical gold appeared to be the preferred method to hedge against tail events by the rich. I totally agree. You know what? It's like they go back and forth. People say, who's going to buy your gold? Nobody. You buy the gold, you hold it. Right? Then once the economy comes back, you sell the gold. The gold is higher. And even if you sold the gold for the same amount, you don't lose any money. Okay? Boom, Inspector General smacks Comey right in his self-righteous mouth. Nobody was vindicated that touches the issue of FISA. That's pretty interesting. Horowitz did not vindicate Comey even after he tweeted that he was out. I do watch the political race. I'm not into it. I'm a libertarian. I will be voting for John McAfee. Yeah. Home Depot links a surge in thefts to opioid crisis. They said people were walking in and out trying to get these because it's like a big store. It's kind of easy to get in and out. They have a lot of self-checkout. So it's an easy place to grab like a drill and just kind of maybe waltz your way out into the parking lot and then, sell it. So yeah, this is it's bad news for the repo market. The repo rate spike was a one-time event caused by quarterly tax payments during unusually high treasury, right? That's what they say. These actions are purely technical measures to support the effective implementation of FOMC's monetary policy and do not represent a change in the state of monetary policy. Cash balances held by the U.S. Treasury in its Federal Reserve account grew in size and became more volatile, especially after 2015. The resulting drain swings in reserves have reduced the cash buffers of the big four banks and their willingness to lend into the repo market. If we're right about funding stresses, the Fed will be doing QE4 by a year end. The safe asset, the U.S. Treasuries, is funded by RV hedge funds on the margin, and if the FX swap market pulls balance sheet and funding away from them, the safe asset goes on sale. It's not good, guys. Like, the places where they're running are not safe anymore. Once they start selling, what are they going to buy? They're going to buy Bitcoin. That's what they're going to buy. So we went over gold. And another thing is my Brave payments, keep sending them to me, but I can't access them because the state of New York has a bit license and I can't get my Brave rewards. So even though I have a bunch of money in Brave sitting here that I earn by turning off my shield and that I have a right to, again, I don't have access to it. Pretty whack. Pretty whack. Yes. But dude, if you really want to learn something, ladies and gents, it will be The End of Energy Companies, The Forbidden Technology of Nikola Tesla. This came out today, December 11th, by Be Inspired. If you don't know who Stephen Greer is, he kind of changed my mind as well, taught me about 57 different species of aliens. Once you realize that we have made contact with aliens, you get over it. This is fact. You just got to expand your consciousness to realize that this is real, you know. Check on my position. Do you guys think it's up or down? It's about the same now as it was before. So, but yeah, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm showing you actual positions that I'm actually getting into. Let's check on Bitcoin. 181. So it is kind of slipping. Starting to fall out. I really wanted it to hold this white line. If it gets into here, then it's got to hold 7,100. And if it doesn't hold 7,100, it's going to be bad news for a lot of the positions here that are open. So even though we have Adam approaching that 370 line again, so Adam really doesn't care. XDZ really wants 160. Hit a high of 159. Took a little bulge back. But now I think we have that new line of support here at 150. Hopefully we don't break that and then we just build from there. So this is a very interesting day. Bitcoin flopping around. Flopping groper. Oof. Tough. But yeah, that's going to be it for the day. Trying to keep it quick, short, and sweet. About 40 minutes to an hour if I can every time on the live stream. But yeah, those are the coins I went into today. Tomorrow we'll have an update on what happened with those, and I'll tell you if I'm opening up another position. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoLifer33. Let's make a poll right now. I don't want to tweet them. I want to go back to my profile. Discard that. So we're going to tweet. We're going to tweet a poll. What are you more likely to buy? Okay. Apple shares. Apple shares. Gold bars. Or Bitcoin. And I want to see what people say. Leave this up for 3 days. Okay? And we're going to tweet that out. And then we will pin it to the profile. So if you're watching my channel right now, please head over to my Twitter at CryptoLifer33. And what are you more likely to buy? Apple shares, gold bars, or Bitcoin? Let me know. Let me know. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Let me just go to the chat, see if anyone's running in there. And yeah, if you want me to go over a coin, remember I will go over any coin that you like. And yeah, this is Crypto Lifer. If you came to my channel,